StadiumDB.com presents Stadium Fight, England vs Spain. Hi, time for the clash of the titans. In this video, the football arenas of England and Spain will face off against each other in a very exciting match. The Premier League and La Liga are two of the strongest competitions in Europe, and there are plenty of beautiful stadiums to admire. We will look at the venues in terms of 8 categories, and in each of these we have selected one venue from each country. But it's not all gold that glitters, so watch the full video for further insight. With that being said, England vs Spain matchup awaits. Small, newly built stadiums. Gtech Community Stadium vs Estadio El Sadar. We start with a slightly smaller pair of venues, but that doesn't mean they aren't worth your attention. On the contrary, we think they are quite magnificent in their own terms. First is the stadium of the London-based Brentford FC. The venue opened in August 2020 and construction took less than 3.5 years. It is one of the smallest in the Premier League, with a capacity of only 17,250 seats. The shape of the stadium resembles a hexagon. It's because it was a real challenge to fit a venue on a triangular-shaped plot. Auditorium has single-tier stands. The form is irregular but provides optimal visibility from anywhere around the stadium. The brand new stadium in Pamplona is a real architectural marvel. Its final shape was decided through a voting process by Osasuna supporters. It was an unprecedented event in professional football. The winning design turned out to be Muro Rojo, meaning red wall, developed by OFS architects. The stadium is rectangular in shape with sharp edges on which rests a roof resembling a giant red ring. The color identified with Los Rojillos is pretty much omnipresent in the arena. Multi-purpose stadiums. London Stadium vs Estadio La Cartuja. Both venues were built with the Summer Olympics in mind. The difference is that London actually hosted the event while Seville did not. After the 2012 games, the plan was to redevelop the venue and hand it over to one of the London's football clubs. In line with these plans, a decision was made to hand the stadium over to the hands of West Ham United. To meet the club's needs, rebuilding began in 2014. It included a new canopy as well as new retractable lower stands. All this to allow the football season and summer athletics competitions to be staged together. The Hammers boast the second highest average attendance in the Premier League for the 2022-23 season. With La Cartuja, the situation is quite different. Opened in 1999, one of the largest stadiums in Spain still has no permanent user. The Spanish Football Federation and the Andalusia local government came to an agreement in 2021 to utilize the region's facilities for matches, including those involving the men's, women's and under-21 national teams. Estadio de la Cartuja has since hosted more games involving Spain than any other location. The venue was not used for football matches between 2012 and 2020. Athletic stadiums converted into football-specific ones. Etihad Stadium vs Reale Arena. Another category relates to stadiums that used to serve athletics in addition to football games, but which lost their multifunctional character after the upgrades were made. At the Eastland site in Manchester, an athletics stadium housing around 35,000 was built to host the Commonwealth Games, which the city hosted in 2002. Shortly after this event, excavators went into action and removed the running track so the new additional stands could be built in its place. The capacity thus increased to 47,000, and this allowed its current host, Manchester City, to move into the venue. Estadio Anoeta underwent a major refurbishment at the end of the last decade and is completely unlike its predecessor. The most important thing was to adapt the geometry of the auditorium for a football pitch without a running track. The pitch was therefore lowered, the stands behind the goals were built from scratch, and the lower stand along the pitch was moved. As a result, behind the goals the spectators are 8.5 meters away from the playing field and in the longer stands about 10 meters. Stadiums of well-known clubs waiting to be upgraded for years. Stamford Bridge versus Estadio Mestalla. This category concerns facilities that prevent their host from expanding. Big clubs with big aspirations deserve a proper home. A new facility for one of the biggest clubs in the world has been talked about for many years. There have been rumors of a major overhaul at Stamford Bridge or a move elsewhere. Roman Abramovich, from the beginning of his reign in West London, had said that a bigger stadium was essential for the club's development. Stamford Bridge is squeezed between railway lines and a busy road, and the area surrounding the stadium is characterized by dense development. The club's authorities were due to agree terms for the purchase of a plot of land adjacent to Stamford Bridge, which could be crucial to the future of the venue. A new stadium to replace the distinguished Mestalla has been talked about on the Mediterranean coast for more than 15 years, and a significant part of the arena has even been built. Can we expect progress on the construction site? In June 2022, yet another concept for the completion of the so-called No Mestalla was presented. Valencia is bidding to host the 2030 World Cup, so awarding the rights to host the tournaments to Spain could be a lifesaver for the unfinished project. Remember to subscribe to our channel and click the bell button. We'd also appreciate it if you like this video and leave a comment below. Thanks! Stadiums squeezed into high-density housing. St. James's Park versus Estadio de la Ceramica. It is time for a slightly unusual category, which relates to sites to which other developments adjoin stadiums, making it difficult to expand, and how the clubs have dealt with it. This problem applies to the aforementioned Stamford Bridge, but also to Newcastle United's home arena. The venue owes its unusual shape to local circumstances. In the 1990s, planning permission for a new stadium 200 meters away could not be obtained, so the club decided to rebuild the existing stands. A further level was added above the two existing stands, making part of the stadium much taller than the rest. Where there was no room for expansion, the east stand is surrounded by listed buildings, greatly complicating plans to expand this part of the arena. Reale is a very densely built city, so it should come as no surprise that El Madrigal football stadium appears to be squeezed between townhouses, with only the western facade exposed. Before work began on the expansion of Estadio de la Ceramica, several buildings adjacent to the stadium were purchased and later demolished to make room for the development. The upgrade has given the facility a more coherent, unified form, although each stand still retains its original shape, which is different from the others. State-of-the-art stadiums opened in recent years. Tottenham Hotspur Stadium versus Cívitas Metropolitano. England and Spain literally breathe football. So in order to provide the best possible experience for fans, the major clubs are upgrading their facilities. Making more money is also an important factor. The Spurs venue in North London opened in 2019 and cost an astronomical £1 billion to complete. The stands are compact, wrapping the pitch tightly. The South Stand has been named the second largest single-tier stand in the whole of the UK, thanks to an impressive 17,500 seats. The facility has a retractable, extendable pitch specifically for hosting NFL games to generate more profit. Estadio Metropolitano was inaugurated in 2017. Its construction cost €310 million. The facility, which seats 68,456 spectators, has created one of the most impressive business zones in Spain. In the 3 new stands alone, 94 enclosed boxes have been created, while there are many more options for the wealthiest spectators in the existing main stand. In total, premium seats take up around 10% of capacity. Stadium's architectural gems. Emirates Stadium versus San Mamés Barria. It's time to look at a couple of football venues that have become a genuine landmark of the times in which they were built and are an essential part of the image of the clubs that play there. When opened in 2006, Emirates was the second largest football ground in the Premier League and the third largest in England. Around the arena, statues of legendary footballers who once wore the red jersey can be found. Those arriving for the match are greeted by likenesses of Thierry Henry, Dennis Bergkamp and Tony Adams, among others. Despite being one of the most modern football venues in the world in 2006 and aging beautifully, the Emirates is slowly beginning to look deteriorated. Hence the club's initiative to refresh the arena's facade. As of 2023, the exterior is decorated with 8 works of art, each representing a different theme. The most interesting thing about the iconic venue in Bilbao is its facade, made up of thousands of white panels. The stadium is equipped with a sophisticated illumination system that can be programmed to illuminate the hundreds of modules on the facade in unified colors or to display flashing as well as moving graphics. The spectacular appearance of the stadium has made it a tourist attraction. The facility has also collected plenty of international architectural awards. Iconic stadiums and a different approach to keeping with tradition. Old Trafford versus Santiago Bernabeu. It's time for the venues of the two of the most successful clubs in the respective countries, Manchester United and Real Madrid. Both clubs reside at arenas that need no introduction. The Theatre of Dreams is at a crossroads. The stadium has not undergone a major redevelopment in over 15 years and is starting to look time-worn. We all remember Cristiano Ronaldo's controversial statement, quote, "Since Ferguson left, I have seen no evolution at the club. The progress is zero. It needs to be torn down and rebuilt. If they start with me, it won't be a problem." Unquote. This includes the infrastructure. The club's new Qatari owners need to consider the future of their home facility. The situation is far better in Madrid. Estadio Santiago Bernabeu, on the other hand, is doing very well. The stadium, after a comprehensive modernization, is expected to generate around 400 million euros in revenue a year. Florentino Perez knows how to extract the maximum from his beloved project. The two clubs have also been separated by a huge disparity in terms of success on the pitch in recent years. And that's all for the football venues we compared in Stadium Fight, England versus Spain. Let us know in the comments who in your opinion won. We hope that you enjoyed the format and would like to watch more videos like that in the future. See you!